Good evening, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Uncommon Sense with Jose Negron. Now, for the benefit of those of you who are not familiar with the channel or watching this channel for the first time, the reason why it is called Uncommon Sense because here on this platform, we discuss everyday issues where we try to find logical solutions, but not everyone uses logic. So, for that reason, it is called Uncommon Sense. I want to let everybody know that I'm currently live on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. Also, the subscriber mode has been enabled for the first 5 minutes, meaning if you're not a subscriber and if you wish to enter a comment in the chat, you will need to subscribe to the channel. I also have another much smaller channel called Latina Diaspora, which I discuss issues pertaining to Latinos. There is a link to that channel in the description. First of all, I want to give a huge shout out to all those who have already subscribed to the channel. Whether you've been a supporter from the very beginning or just recently joined, I really appreciate your continued support. I also want to give a huge shout out to all those who follow me on social media, particularly Instagram and TikTok. I also want to give a huge shout out to all those who allow me to enter into your devices and those who watch from the clouds, even the haters. So what I'm going to ask you to do, if you have not done so already, I'm going to ask you to please subscribe, like, and set the bell notification to all. So therefore, whenever I do produce content, you will have the opportunity to catch it live or catch it on the playback. So as you can see by the thumbnail, the topic for tonight is the work spouse. So that's something that's a term that's been developed within the last couple of years. So we're going to have a discussion regarding that. But before we get into this main topic, we're going to have another episode of In My Words. First of all, I'm just going to begin with some sad news. Many of us are already aware that, unfortunately, Jimmy Carter, who was the 39th president of the United States, has passed away. We do not have a full reporting regarding what was the cause of death. Okay. However, he was 100 years old. Okay. And when you take into account that the average lifespan of a male is around maybe 75 to 80 years old, the fact that he lived a good 20 to 25 years past the normal lifespan, he had a rich life. Okay, he served in the Navy during World War II. He was the governor of Georgia. He was also the president of the United States from 1977 to 1981. Well, he has some achievements or it has some failures. Of course, that's what every president has gone through. But one thing that makes him unique is that his time after the presidency, a good chunk of that time was spent helping to build homes with Habitat for Humanity. So he was definitely someone that was truly loved by many people. And he was married to his wife, Rosalind Carter, for a good, it's over 75 years, I think. So I just want to extend my condolences to the family of Jimmy Carter. Okay. I'm sure that he's resting in the presence of God as we speak. Of course, I don't know, but I do know among the other things that he did taught Bible class in his free time. Okay. And we do know he was sick for a very long time. So I would say rest in peace. Okay. Now, another thing I want to talk about, and I'm going to share a little bit regarding mulattoes. Okay. Now, these are people that are great misunderstood, because there's not, okay, we have a lot of ignorance regarding it. Now, mulattoes are basically people where they have one parent that's Caucasian and one parent that's black. That's what it is. Okay. Now, there is a lot of people that think that the term mulatto is a derogatory term. Now, in all fairness, I used to think this way. However, in time, I've come to realize that that's not the case. All it is just these are people that have one black parent and one parent. Okay. I think we do need to learn a great deal when it comes to mulattoes. Okay. Particularly before we start to opine. Okay. Um, and I do know that there are mulattoes that are um, trying to form their own community, want their own individuality, which I do respect and I do support. I think they have the right to form their own community. They have the right to form their own society. I mean, we extend that right to every conceivable group, including the LGBTQ plus community. I think it would be very hypocritical on our part not to give mulattoes um, the same courtesy. Okay. And there is a great deal of history that we do not know anything about. Um, I am open to learn more about it. And I think at some point, what I will do is I will do a live stream regarding what are some of the common misconceptions as it pertains to mulattoes. Okay. Now, I have not talked about this for a long time. Part of it because I really don't know a great deal. Okay. Um, I'm sure I have friends who are mulattoes. I do know that some of them struggle with the identity. Okay. Others are proud of who they are. And I believe every group should be able to be proud of who they are. Now, the next thing I want to discuss about is, look, I think quite a few of you are aware that recently my main channel had reached a milestone. I'm at 500 subs. And first of all, I just want to give a huge shout out to the uncommon folk, because it was all of you who made it possible. Okay. I am humble by the fact that I reached this milestone. Okay. I'm just a small YouTube content creator, um, just trying to share what little knowledge that I've been given and share with you. I do appreciate the fact that the channel has grown to that extent. Okay. Um, and I truly believe that 2025 will be another prosperous year, not just for me, but for many YouTube creators. Um, Also, another thing that I'm happy about is that I'm being able to grow, see growth, but keep it in a positive way. Okay. One of the things I've said, and I will continue to say, that this is not a sprint. This is a marathon. Okay. And of course, there are weeks where there is not a great deal of growth, and there's weeks when there's amazing growth, and that's how it is when it comes to um, channels like myself that do try to produce uh, quality content. And the fact of the matter is, I truly am humble by the amount of growth. In fact, I'm also approaching 1 190,000 views on the main channel. I mean, I think I'm at 188,000. So all of that, uh, that shows that I'm truly, truly am blessed by the amount of love and the amount of support that this platform has received. Okay. And I will never take it for granted. The fact of the matter is, the reason why I'm here, the reason why I have the success, it's because of my supporters. Okay. And I'll never, never, never forget that. And I'm always going to take an opportunity to show my appreciation to the uncommon folk. Okay. And why I call you uncommon folk, because you are a special group of people um, who have supported me through good times, through bad times, dealt with some of my many imperfections and things of that nature. So I really do appreciate that. Okay. And of course, tomorrow is New Year's Eve, um, which I have plans. I'm going to be out tomorrow night. In fact, I'll be attending a New Year's Eve party with members of my local, okay, which is by invitation, which I'll be bringing in the new year with members of my union family. And I will say this: 2024 has been an amazing year um, as far as growth is concerned. Um, have I made mistakes along the way? Yes, I have. But I've tried to learn from mistakes. And one thing I will promise you, um, going into 2025, is that I will do my best to provide you with the best quality content that I am able to provide. That is my pledge, and that is my promise. And again, a huge shout out to all of you for your continued love, support, and patience with me, particularly those times when my Wi-Fi or I'm experiencing any sort of technical difficulties. So, with that being said, we're going to get to the main topic. Now, before I continue, let me just state for the record that the link to join the panel has been pinned. Should anyone wishes to hit that link and join the panel and go opine regarding the topic at hand, they can do so. Let me make this perfectly clear. If I've never seen you before, if I've never heard from you before, I will insist that you come up in the backstage, then make sure that no one flashes anything inappropriate, which will cause the people of YouTube to take down the stream. Okay. Hopefully the day will come. Well, I don't have to make this announcement, unfortunately, until that day comes. It is what it is. Now, what I'm going to do is, first of all, I'm just going to define what is the work spouse. Now, this is something that has developed within the last few years. Okay, so let me just, okay, just give me a moment. And a huge shout out to all those, particularly those who are watching on Instagram. Okay, now I'm going to share my screen, hopefully. Okay. Because one thing I believe in doing is that I believe in clearly defining what are terms. Okay, so this is the term for work spouse. Work spouse is a term or phrase that is mostly in American English, referring to a co-worker to whom one shares a special relationship. having bonds similar to those of a marriage. Early references suggest that a work spouse may not just be a co-worker, but also someone in a similar field who the individual works closely with the partnering company. A work spouse has been defined as a special platonic friendship with a work colleague characterized by a close emotional bond, high levels of disclosure and support, and mutual trust, honesty, loyalty, and respect. So that is the actual definition. Okay. Now, according to a survey that was conducted in 2006, 32% of workers said they had an office husband or office wife. A CNN Money characterized the relationship having the immediate intimacy of marriage without the commitment. One source characterized the relationship as platonic, close, opposite sex couplings with no strings attached. The phrase, however, is sometimes used in same-sex relationships. Okay, so let me just. Now we're going to get into historical uses. The phrase office wife was common during the 1930s, popularized by Faith Baldwin's 1930 novel, The Office Wife, and its film adaptation, but the concept is not an exact phrase, it's much older. A 1932 New York Times article says, it is curious that the phrase office wife originated with Gladstone. He used to say that minister and his secretary should understand each other perfectly as husband and wife, which principle he reduced to a system. Office wife carried the connotation of subordination or subservience. As families began to take hold in the 1980s, it became common to hear many secretaries resent the office wife syndrome, referring to be asked to do such things as paying personal bills or bills, picking up everything from dry cleaning or dusting the office. I'm getting paid as a secretary, one secretary, not as I am not a personal servant. So we're going to get into modern uses. Excuse me. Okay. According to Timothy Knoll, in writing in Slate, the term work wife, work husband, and work marriage entered the National Lexicon in 1987 when the writer David Owen wrote of the Atlantic essay describing a particular platonic intimacy that frequently arises between male and female employees working in close proximity. An executive coach and workplace advisor noted that as of 2005, the workspace spouse is a relatively new concept. Many people don't know what to make of it. Yet it's only in the last 25 years that men and women have become peers in the workplace. This new camaraderie coupled with long hours spent at work has caused a fundamental shift in the way people conduct business and interact with each other. Okay, and we're going to park it here. So that kind of gives you a definition of what the term work spouse is. Okay. Now, let me make this perfectly clear. There's nothing romantic. Okay, usually there's nothing romantic involved. Usually, what it is you have a very close platonic relationship, usually with members of the opposite sex. However, the same thing can apply to in a same-sex environment when you have two members of the LGBTQ community, they have a work spouse relationship. Good evening, DD Juju. Thank you very much. And thank you very much. Yes, I made 500 subs. Thank you very much. And let me just stay. And also, Don Armando is in the chat. Good evening. Good evening, Don Armando. Good evening, DD Juju. Before I continue, let me just state that both my friend Didi Judo and Donna Mando have their own YouTube channels where they produce a lot of great content. Okay, so I would encourage you to please check out their content and subscribe to their channels. I think both of them are close to 500 subs. Okay, I could be wrong. I think Donna Mama's at 470. And I think DT Judo is close to 500. So let's see if we can help them reach 500 subs as well. Okay. You're quite welcome. And the topic for tonight is the work spouse. Okay. Basically, there's a situation where in the job, you have a very close platonic relationship with someone of the opposite sex. Now the question is can it become romantic? Um, one thing I would say is be very careful when it comes to office romances, and I'm going to tell you the reason why. Because if heaven forbid any conflicts between you and another person um, whom you're having an office romance, the whole office is going to be made aware of it, and at times it can damage morale. Okay, and to be perfectly honest, there are some employers that will discourage that type of thing. Okay, um, as far as myself is concerned, um, you're quite welcome, Donna Mano. Okay, what two consenting adults do, that's totally up to them. It is not my place to like legislate whatever what consenting adults do. But I do want you to bear in mind that some work environments discourage office romances and things of that nature. And also bear in mind that um, it's very important if you're going to pursue something like that, try to keep it discreet. Okay. The last thing people want to see is people, people in the job place getting affectionate and mushy and things like that. Okay, but now, in all fairness, I have never pursued someone of the opposite sex in the work environment. And there's many reasons why. First of all, there was never been a possible opportunity for me to do so. Number one. Number two, there's always the issue where uh, if things go south, that next thing you know, everyone in the office is aware, and it's a strange situation because where I'm work in my department, I'm the only male there. Okay, out of a group, I think nine, I'm the only male, so it's like eight females, and all of them are either married or have a relationship or they're just not going to pursue anyone in the office. I had a work relationship, turn it down. Okay, okay. Well, see, in this case, what I'm talking about, it's something that's purely platonic. Okay, and I'm gonna let you guys know on a little secret. I have a work spouse myself. Okay, and I'm not gonna go into details because I believe in being discreet. I don't see anything romantically involved. Okay, it's just that it's a funny thing that I didn't pursue this work spouse relationship. Okay, it has developed. So now she recalls me, her work husband. I call her wifey. I mean, it's a term in a different endearment. Okay, nothing of a sexual connotation or things of that nature. Nothing, and particularly something that I would not share with my lady, because if anyone knows about Dominican women tend to be very jealous. Okay. And for me to try to explain something like that to my lady, uh, it would go south. Okay. And I know Dominican women, no offense to the ladies, but you tend to be jealous. I think the only one that gets to be they're more jealous are Filipino women. Just keep it real, folks. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to share. Okay, another. Okay, so I'm going to share something. Just give me a moment. Okay, and and I stated before, and I'm going to state it again. The link is there in case anyone wants to hit the link and opine. So until then, I'm just going to share uh, another. Okay. I'm probably going to be on for about an hour, depending how things go. So this is an article that I picked up in Psychology Today, and the name of the top article is called "Why So Many People Bond with a Work Spouse." He just isn't my coworker. He's my person at work. Okay, so let me just. Okay. There are people in the workplace who have developed a relationship closer than a friendship. One coworker described James is, ju- is not just my coworker. He's my person at work. My go-to. I share things with him that I don't share with others in the office, and he does the same with me. I trust him. He trusts me. We have a special, close, platonic, emotional bond. We are loyal, honest, and supportive of one another, and I respect him, and he respects me. Some people label this person a work spouse or a work husband or work wife. You might have heard this term and wondered what it's all about. Communication researchers Chad McBride of Creighton University and Allison Thornton of the University of San Francisco joined me to write about work spouse relationship. They have studied communication in this unconventional pairing that can bring many positives and at the same time have potentials to be misunderstood. So here's the definition of a work spouse. Chad McBride and colleague Carla Bergen describe a work spouse as a special platonic friendship with a work colleague, characterized by a close emotional bond, highlights of disclosure and support, and mutual trust, honesty, loyalty, and respect. The number of work spouses have increased due to an active organization's efforts to encourage employee camaraderie, longer hours spent at work in person or remotely, and cultural tendencies to name and define relationships. As I disclosed in an earlier post, relationship labels help membership and others understand social closeness and expectation. Labeling someone a work spouse helps members of this relationship, co-workers, and people outside the office better understand the close connection of these colleagues. This helps everyone to figure out what they think, do, and say, and not regarding these relationships. Work spouse relationships are more likely to form when people experience A, similarities, B, compatibility, C, complementary strength of opposites, and D, availability and physical proximity. McBride and Bergen 2015. Work spouses start as friends and grow naturally over time. Rather than seek work spouses, partners come to recognize and often label the special bond that has been formed. For instance, the two doctoral students begin seeing themselves as work spouses after their major professor appreciated their positive influence on each other, referring to it as Mr. and Mrs. Sociology. Now, what makes a work spouse relationship special? A work spouse is a rare gem that can help make difficult workplace more bearable and possible work environment extraordinary. These relationships form within different professions, often between those of interdependent roles such as firefighters, military personnel, and teaching teams. Work spouse relationships occur independent of employees. A, sexuality. B, romantic relationship status, nationality, and/or personality. Okay, now we're going to get into the advantages of having a work spouse. Having a work spouse can be a great benefit to organizations. For example, influence high level of employee commitment. Individuals in a work spouse report improved work effectiveness and feeling connectedness. Given the genuine care that they have for each other, the work spouses provide another safe space to communicate, confide their concerns without embarrassment or fear. Work spouses help improve performances by giving candid and honest feedback. They offer a safety net where individuals can let their guard down and provide an escape from the pressures of the work office environment. Work spouses often function as a team and can protect one another, anticipating informational actions that are potentially hurtful or punitive. They provide an outlet for venting frustration, celebrating successes, and navigating the complexities of the organizational dynamics. Work spouses can be highly beneficial in the work environment and life outside the organization. Now, what are the challenges of having a work spouse? Let's see. Okay, I just want to make sure. Work spouse relationships are often misunderstood and motives for being in them can be questioned. First, some skeptics believe work spouse is a cover for a romance or sexual attraction. However, researchers stress that these are platonic relationships formed among all different types of employees and often people who would not be sexually or romantically attracted to one another. Example, a gay man and a straight female or two straight women. Second, people in workspace relationships can be disadvantaged or stigmatized if the relationship becomes a fodder for gossip or negative evaluation at work outside of work. In addition, work spouses may be viewed by coworkers or management as a unit, making it difficult to have individual contributions to be recognized. Third, some resistance to work spouses come from the label itself. Some objective using a family term for work relationship. They perceive using the term as a spouse, as husband or wife, to be a violation of their home relationship, as the person explained. The term spouse is sacred. I only have one spouse and I'm married to them. Now, here are some final thoughts. Labeling a colleague as a work spouse communicates to them and others the person occupies a unique and significant space in your life. The labels for and the nature of the work spouse will remain in flux. Changes in gender roles, multicultural work teams, and increase in people working from home will likely affect how work spouse role develop and plays out. In the best of circumstances, work spouses can be an important source of well-being and positive identity. They can help navigate challenges, share professional joys, and seek and give support and comfort. While others may be internal and external challenges, healthy long-term spouses feel more understood, valued, and connected by their career path and organization, making that long commute or dull meeting more enjoyable, tolerable, and enjoyable. And we've got a pocket here. Good evening, Irby. Thank you for listening. Okay, okay, I get it, but let me make this perfectly clear. This term, when it comes to work spouse, what it is, it is a platonic relationship, um, and it could be either with the opposite sex, or it could be with of the same sex. That's all it is. There's nothing romantic involved. Okay. Now it can be misunderstood that way. Okay. That's true. It can be misunderstood. That's the reason why I started the discussion describing what is a work spouse. Okay. Because people can misinterpret it. People can misinterpret the fact that you have a platonic relationship. Okay. Sounds like gateway cheating to me. Okay. Irby, I would suggest, okay, you are entitled to your opinion. I would suggest that you, when you get a chance, that you play it back, say about a good 20 minutes, where I actually give a definition what are work spouses. Okay. Now, can they, okay, is there a possibility that it can lead to something romantic? I'm not going to lie. Okay. But one thing we have to bear in mind that in many places unemployment, there's certain policies that do not allow it. Okay. Because the fact about it is, if you have a situation when you have two colleagues that do have a romantic relationship, and if it goes south, or if there's an issue, guess what? Everyone in the whole department is knowing about it. Okay. That's why I said, okay, that's why I said you need to be very careful when it comes, if you decide to change um, the nature of something from being platonic to being something romantic, you have to be very careful. And it's something that has to be agreeable with both parties, and you have to show um, discretion. Okay. And again, let me make this perfectly clear. What two individuals do, you know, as adults, I am not going to judge. Now, obviously, if if one of them is either married or in a committed relationship, they should not try to pursue something romantic with your colleague. Okay. First of all, not only because of what I've discussed, but the fact of the matter is that there's fidelity issues and things of that nature, and also trust issues. So I would not condone someone that has a platonic relationship with a member of the opposite sex at work and then trying to make it more romantic while that person, one of the parties or both of the parties are involved in committed relationship. I would never advise that. Okay. But I will say this, it's something that has developed. It's there. Okay. And also, we have to be mindful of the fact that nowadays, with the work environment, you have to be very careful what you say with the, as particularly when dealing with the opposite sex. My field work, not a lot of women are running anyway. Okay, see, okay, in my situation, it's different. In my department, I'm the only male, but I don't have a work spouse relationship with any of my female co-workers. Okay, I do have platonic works. Okay, platonic friendly relationship with another employee from another department. Okay, okay, and of course you have to be mindful of what you say. You have to be mindful how you act. Okay, like for example, I would not. Okay, um, I wouldn't necessarily um, give like a brotherly hug because it can easily be misinterpreted as something sexual, and I would never do that. Okay. Now, normally, if my if she comes over and gives me like a sisterly hug, that's one thing. Okay, okay, and of course it's mutually respectable. Okay, so she'll call me work husband, I'll call her wifey, but it's nothing romantic involved. Okay, now again, people can misinterpret it in all so many ways, and we do live in a society that people love to gossip, and people love to make something that does not exist. Okay, which is why if you find yourself in a relationship in a situation when you have a close bond, a close platonic bond with someone of the opposite sex at your job environment, you need to be very careful of what you say and what you do. Okay? And there's a certain line that you must not cross. Okay? What is that line? Okay, basically, do not say anything, do not do anything to make um, your office spouse uncomfortable. Okay, you have okay, and if you are able to read the room, you would know what is appropriate and what's not appropriate. Okay, you would know that, and you will act accordingly. Okay, and what's a good guide? Okay, before you say anything or you do anything, you need to think: is what I'm going to say or what I'm going to do is going to make this person feel uncomfortable. If there's any question about it or if there's any possibility that it can be considered uncomfortable, the words or the action, it is best not to do it. Okay? And particularly now in this day and age, where with the Me Too movement and everything like that, and the fact that my, Andrew Cuomo was forced to resign due to allegations regarding sexual harassment when it was reported that he would call people honey, sweetie, whatever. Um, Nowadays, you cannot do that. Okay, you cannot be calling. Okay, you cannot be calling any female coworker honey, sweetie, whatever, because first of all, it's not going to be well received. Number one. Number two, it can be interpreted as sexual harassment. And number three, you can definitely get yourself written up. Okay, so you have to, and you even have to be mindful regarding how to give compliments. Okay, like for example, if you see a female colleague and she's wearing an attire that present her in a positive light. I mean, there's nothing wrong by saying to her that you wear that outfit very well. Okay, you look professional in that outfit. Okay, I mean, basically use compliments that are um, gender neutral. Okay, you do that, you don't have to worry. Now, there have been female colleagues and female supervisors who have called me honey, sweetie, baby, whatever. I have never reciprocated. Okay. And I'm going to tell you why. Because heaven forbid that one day when I refer to a female colleague or a female supervisor as honey, sweetie, baby, whatever, or mama or mommy, next thing you know, um, I'm going to be having an uncomfortable discussion with HR regarding violation of code of conduct. Okay, which does cover interactions with colleagues, particularly colleagues of the opposite sex. So even though female co-workers or female supervisors might say honey, sweetie, baby, honey, or whatever, I would not reciprocate. I would say that okay, if it was a colleague, I would say Susan, Anna, Simone. If it's a supervisor, Miss So and so, or a manager, Miss So and so, or Mrs. So and so. I would never refer to a manager as a honey, sweetie, whatever. No, no, no. That's asking for trouble. And I have been fortunate because, look, in my 25 years working as a municipal employee, I have never been written up for inappropriate conduct, and I'm not planning to do that now, folks. So what I'm going to do is, let's see. I think I'm going to do. Okay. I'm going to do one more article. Okay. I'm going to share it and then I'm going to opine a little bit about it. And then if no one else hop on the panel, I'll wrap it up. Okay. Oh, just as a reminder, I'm not going to be doing a stream tomorrow night because I'm going to be going out on New Year's Eve. And I'm going to be going out to a New Year's Eve party where I'm going to indulge in food. I'm going to indulge in some libation. And I'm also going to have, try to do a little dancing. Okay. So let me just share my screen, hopefully. Okay, oops. Okay. Now this is let me just see this game. Okay. Have you ever seen two co-workers who are more than colleagues learn what work wife and work husband means and the potential benefits and 10 signs you may have one? Okay. We spend countless hours at work, so it's only natural to build strong connections with our coworkers. But sometimes, yep. But sometimes a bond becomes even more significant when you might find yourself with a work spouse, whether you're calling work wife or work husband, the special coworker, someone who got your back day in, day out. And while you might spend more time with this person than your actual partner at home, work spouses are just a fun title for otherwise platonic relationship. Okay, so you're gonna have some fun tomorrow night and New Year's Eve, Don Armando. Yes, that sounds like fun. Like all close friendship, having a work spouse doesn't make the day fly by. Just make the day fly by, but it can also boost your mental health and make work feel less like work. But you may wonder how this close connection might affect your relationship outside the office or even what others around the office might think. So is a work wife or work husband the secret of thriving at work, and how you keep the balance between your office and your personal life. Okay, so a work spouse is a co-worker they have a close supporter and platonic relationship with. They're not someone you're romantically involved, but the title may give a colleague what is basically your best friend at work. Again, let me just state this. This is purely platonic, folks. Okay, this is not someone that I'm going to hook up with. This is not someone I'm going to smash after work. This is something that's purely platonic. You'll likely work closely, collaborate on projects, or share an office space. But more than that, you can have a laugh together, count on them for some rent or grab a cup of coffee when you need a break. You'll probably rely on each other to give advice, lighten up rough tough tasks, or prop up your emotionally during stressful holidays. The relationship can feel like a real life marriage that you look out for each other. Talk frequently and might even know what each other is thinking or finishing each other's sentences. But unlike a romantic partnership, a work spouse relationship is built on rapport, professional respect, mutual understanding, and a shared sense of experience at work only. With a work wife or work spouse, you're there for each other, just like in any good relationship. Hoping to create more meaningful connection at work, there are 15 ways to build rapport with those around. Just give me a moment. Can both men and women have work spouses? A work wife, okay, a work spouse isn't limited by gender, even though the language might suggest otherwise. Anyone, regardless of gender, can have a work spouse. What defines work spouse is the bond of trust, support, and friendship, whether or not it's between a man and woman, two women, or two men, or any combination. Good evening, Georgia. Thank you very much for stopping by. Thank you very much for that, for me reaching that milestone. So tonight's topic is the work spouse. So what I did, I gave a definition what it is, which is basically it's a purely platonic relationship that you have with someone at work. It could be someone of the opposite sex or the same sex. It is purely platonic in nature. A female might have a work wife if her close friend is at work is a woman, or a guy might have a work husband if his closest co-worker is a buddy or man. The term is meant to be a tongue-in-cheek, like a pet name, but for co-workers. These friendships can be incredibly valuable, giving you one person at work that you can lean on, someone that can truly understand the day-to-day stresses you face because you're living them alongside you. Now, here are some benefits of having a work spouse. And again, folks, this is something that's purely platonic. Having a work spouse can offer several benefits, especially when it comes to your mental health and overall job satisfaction. Increased job satisfaction. When you have someone you trust at work, you are more likely to enjoy your job. A work spouse can help even stressful days feel more manageable. Emotional support. Having a friend to talk with who understands the environment and help you cope. They can get you through going through. So they're meeting you where you are at and you need to offload or discuss a work issue. Collaboration and productivity. A close colleague can help you make your day more productive. You work well together, complementing each with other strengths, and you're comfortable bouncing off ideas of each other, which can make more creative and project. With this boon, having someone reliable to lean on to help make all the differences when you're feeling overwhelmed. Work spouse can help lift the emotional load of the day. Yes. Yes, the relationship with work spouse is strictly platonic, but the two have a strong emotional relationship. Yeah. But the communication, when you're in sync with your work spouse, communication can be smoother, so tasks can be done faster and with less frustration. If you're struggling to communicate, there are 13 tips to create effective communication in the workspace. A sense of belonging at work. Having a work spouse can make everything in your workspace feel a team effort, which can help boost motivation and engagement. It's also joy during the workplace. Adding fun to the workplace can make a daily grind more enjoyable. Companion laughter and celebration achievement together can help your mood and energy level high. This can help balance the serious of work and remind you that it doesn't always have to be stressful. Okay, just want to make sure. Now, there are 10 signs that you have a work wife or work house. And let me just discuss what they are. You talk every day, even when you don't have to. You rely on each other for venting and support. You gradually grab lunch or coffee together. You trust their opinion and on work and personal matters. You have inside jokes or shared sense of humor. You instinctively know what they need when they need help or a break. You always have each other's back. Colleagues notice your bond. You feel more comfortable being yourself around them, and you're missing when they're not around. So these are the signs that you may have a work spouse. Having a work spouse or a wife or work housing can be a great source of support and friendship. Just be sure to balance your relationship with professionalism and respect so you can enjoy all the benefits of having a close work friendship without any misunderstanding or discomfort. Yes, I see here. The work spouse is the name for those who are single. Once involved, I wouldn't want anyone being addressed as a spouse. Yeah, that's true. Staying professional while work. It's easy to get caught up in a close relationship with, but it's important to remember the work is still a professional environment. Do not let the fun of having a work spouse interfere with your job performance. Of course, you prioritize each other over work itself. Make sure that you're still meeting deadlines, being a team player, and bringing your best self. Hey, Ramon, good evening. Happy holidays to you. Tonight's topic is the work spouse. Okay, so I'm just going to remember that supporting your mental health is your job. While having a work spouse can provide much needed emotional support at work, try not to become too dependent on that one person for all your emotional needs. If you find yourself turning to your work spouse for every problem issue, it might be a sign that you're having an emotional dumping on someone else instead of taking care of your own health issues. Spread out and support your system. Help avoid putting too much pressure on a single relationship and ensure that you're staying connected with the important people of your life. Remain respectful to your other co-workers. If you and your work spouse spend a lot of time together, you want to make sure that you still be inclusive and warm to other co-workers. No one likes it when you click off and they feel excluded. So if you have lunch with your work wife or husband, and then maybe invite some other co-workers occasionally join. You want to maintain good rapport with all your colleagues, not just the one you're closest to. That makes a lot of sense. Take space if you need. Just like any other friendship, there can be times when you might need some space from each other. Just be sure to communicate this respectfully and kindly. If you need to, have an open, respectful conversation with your spouse on how you can make changes to keep relations healthy and professional for both of you. Can having a work wife affect your personal relationship at home? Sometimes having a work life or work house might affect your romantic relations, but it really depends on how well you manage boundaries and communicate with your partner. Be honest, open and honest with the partner. Let them know about the friendship. Explain that it's platonic and clear that you support with work. It can also avoid misunderstandings. It can also help you to involve your partner in the conversation about your work life. Talk about your work spouse and same way you talk about a coworker. So it doesn't mean that you're keeping them a secret. So what other boundaries should you be set with a work wife or a work husband? Let me just make sure. Okay. I'm sorry. I just want to make sure there's no one waiting in the backstage. Make sure that you're both on the same page about the nature of the relationship and keep the conversation work appropriate in the workplace. Respect physical boundaries. In most professional setting, physical distance help ensure no one feels uncomfortable. Simply gesture like a high five or a pen on the back or even a hug on a particular club date might seem harmless, but always checking with the other person to make sure they're comfortable with any physical contact. If the boundaries are not met, if boundaries not your strong suit, okay. There are 6 steps that help keep clarity with relationships. Is it common to have a work life in remote environments? Okay, excuse me, excuse me. Work-small relationships can definitely form in remote or hybrid work environments. Even though you're not physically in the same place, you can still develop a strong connection with co-workers through regular virtual meetings, chats, and collaborators. In fact, working remote might even strengthen your bond with your work spouse because you rely on them more on human contact by messaging platform or video calls that you don't feel isolated. When working remotely, it can be comfortable to have someone that you can message for a quick break or chat about work-related stress. The dynamic might look a little different with fewer in-person lunches or coffee breaks, but the emotional support and professional collaboration can be just as well. Can a work-like relationship be inappropriate? What begins as supportive platonic friendship can potentially lead to emotional attachment that feels too personal or even romantic. And that could create problems for both workplace and your personal life. But if you treat a work spouse relationship the same way you would treat any platonic relationship, you shouldn't have any issues with boundaries. How can you build a professional relationship without forming a work-life bond? If you're looking to build strong professional relationship without necessarily forming a work-spot connection, focus on collaboration, teamwork with a variety of co-workers. A key aspect of healthy working relationship is balance. Instead of relying on one person's support guidance, make an effort to connect with multiple colleagues. This can help spread the emotional professional support, creating a more diverse network and workplace relationship. Okay, and we're going to park it here. Okay, let me just. Yeah, you know what? Okay, in all fairness, good evening. In all fairness, I will be a little bit leery having my boss or my supervisor as a work spouse. Okay. Now, in all fairness, I do have a work spouse. However, she works in a different department. Again, and I am not there every moment of the day. Okay. Okay. We both know when to approach each other. Okay. And there's mutual respect. Okay. And it's true, you have to be very careful and you have to keep this relationship professional and respectful. Okay. And one thing you have to be mindful of. Certain words or certain gestures can be misconstrued to something else. That's something you have to be very careful with. And that's something I am very careful with. Okay, first of all, I never try to embrace any member of the opposite sex. Okay, first of all, there's certain individuals that don't like to be hugged. There's certain people that don't like to be touched, and you have to be mindful of that. Okay. And if you are observant, you will know. Okay. You will know for yourself. Okay. What not to say or do. Okay. How, and also, um, there may be times when both you and your work spouse need to take a break from each other. Okay. And you need to have a mature conversation, a respectful conversation. Okay. Um, and if you are respectful, if you are cordial, um, you can avoid a lot of issues. Okay. And don't assume that everyone is going to be a work spouse. And don't, okay, don't seek someone to be a work spouse. I think the best thing is just let it develop organically. Okay. It's usually better that way. Okay. Now, in all fairness, um, let me just see. When I happen in marriage, I wouldn't mind having some colleagues whom I happen to have a solid relationship with, but but they for sure won't be any spouse in any capacity. Okay. And I think that's a fair statement. I think it's a fair statement. Okay. And another thing we have to, and again, and this is something that we have to bear this in mind. This is a platonic relationship. Okay. With another colleague, with a co-worker. It's platonic. It does not mean have a platonic relationship with a supervisor or a manager. Okay. Um, Now, there have been managers that will say to me, "Hi, honey, hi, sweetie, hi, baby, whatever." I would never reciprocate in kind, because if heaven forbid one day I slip and I'll say, "Honey" or "sweetie" to a female supervisor or a female manager, um, that can lead to um, a confrontation, and that's something that I do not need to get myself involved with. Okay, as a single man, yes, I get it. It's platonic, but a lot of stuff would change once marriage enters the equation. Okay, yes. Okay, just want to work done and see the experience. Okay, look, this is my okay. As I stated before, look, do not. What I would not suggest to do, that you go out there and try to find someone to be a work spouse. Okay, it's something. It's best to be left organically. Okay, because we have to be mindful. Not everyone's feel comfortable with that. Not everyone feel comfortable with the concept of a work spouse. Okay, and people have their own interpretation of what it is, and it can easily be misinterpreted as an attempt to hook up. Okay, so in any case, I have been talking for over an hour. Okay, regarding the topic. So, and I see here, there's some activity here in the chat. So if there anyone that wishes to join the panel and opine regarding the subject, whether it's maybe you think it's a good idea, maybe you think it's a bad idea, maybe you think it's something to avoid to have an office spouse, or maybe you think it's a great idea or whatever, or maybe you might want to share an experience that you have with a work spouse, whether it be positive, negative, or indifferent. So the link is in the chat. It's been pinned. Sure, anyone wishes to hit that link. Okay. If no one wishes to hit the link and no one wishes to enter any comments, any further comments, then I will start to wrap this up. Okay. But I I have decided to discuss this concept because first of all, it's a relatively new concept, and nowadays with the Me Too movement and things like that, the fact of the matter is that in many places you do have female co-workers, and again, in my situation in my department, I'm the only male. Now let's see here. I had one that used to look at me creepy until I told her I was married. Okay, so apparently, that person did not respect your boundaries. Okay, because look, the fact of the matter is, we have to be respectful with each other, and there's certain boundaries that we should not cross under any circumstances whatsoever. Okay, and the fact of the matter is this. Um, Not everyone has the maturity to deal to have a purely platonic relationship with a co-worker that they trust. Okay, not everyone has the maturity to do that. Okay, which is something we have to be mindful. And one thing we have to be truly honest with ourselves. If very people are involved with the workplace, then stronger boundaries will need to be put in place. I agree. I personally agree. Okay. Um, and again, there's certain lines that should not be crossed. I firmly agree that. Okay. If you have someone that's married, you have the and then there's a colleague that you respect, that you um, value their judgment. Just remember their boundaries and remember the fact that it should not be an opportunity for a hookup. Plus, a lot of colleagues end up having sex during office after hours. It can be risky, especially when both parties begin to be very lonely or carrying out a lot of baggage. Okay, that is why. Okay, that is why it is extremely important that boundaries being set. Okay. Also, another thing to bear in mind that these are platonic relationships, folks. These are platonic. What does that mean? It's not something to be done to try to seek a romantic or a sexual encounter. Okay. Because again, we have to be mindful that in some employers they have policies which discourage office romances, which they call fraternization. Okay. Yep, good self-control we need to be put in place. They started off platonic until stuff happened. Yeah. Yeah. And that's okay. And again, another thing that you have to have is you have to have the maturity to keep it platonic. You have to have the maturity. Okay. It gets to be an issue when one of the parties starts entertaining and thinking of that person as something romantic. That could be a problem. A big problem. Okay. Let's see here. They can still be beneficial friendship, but I know they aren't for everyone. Plus, a lot of people used to have emotional affairs. Okay, that's another good point. Okay, and people see this is the thing. When people think about being unfaithful, um, they automatically assume when it comes to sexual content, conduct. You can be unfaithful emotionally when you start to have romantic feelings. Okay, and next thing you know, you're having what we would call impure thoughts. Here's an interesting: you can still have an affair with your significant other without sexual content. Yeah. Okay. So that's why, and I stress this, and I'm going to continue to stress this. Not everyone can deal with this, which is still evoke a lot of variations. Okay. Okay. That's another thing. It's one thing when you are single and you're not in a romantic relationship with someone, and then you develop a close platonic bond. Okay, it's one thing. It's another thing when you are in a committed relationship or you're married, and then you develop uh, a close bond with someone of the opposite sex or even with the same sex. Yeah. So again, let me make this perfectly clear. Not everyone has the maturity. Not everyone is able to set up boundaries. Okay. And this is the thing. If you're unable to set up boundaries, if you're unable to keep those boundaries in existence, do not have an office spouse relationship with anybody. Anybody. Okay. If you are not in a position that you know that you lack the discipline to maintain um, respectable boundaries, do not, and I repeat, do not get yourself involved in an office type environment situation. Okay. So, if anyone wants to hit that link, they can do so. Otherwise, I will start to wrap up because I've said basically everything that I needed to say. First of all, shout out to everyone that's watching this as we speak. Please hit the like button. It doesn't cost you anything, but it does help with the algorithm. And again, I really appreciate the fact that with the love and support that I receive from the uncommon folk, I actually reached 500 subs. Okay, so that is a major achievement, which I truly appreciate, and I truly am touched by your support. Excuse me. So at this point, it looks like no one is going to join me on the panel. So I am going to start to wrap this up. Let me just give you my final thoughts when it comes to the work spouse relationship. Um, for those of you that can create boundaries, that have the maturity and the integrity, um, the respect boundaries, having a platonic close relationship with a with a coworker can be an asset. It could be used to help motivate each other to do well in the work environment. It can also be an asset regarding dealing with work related issues, and it can produce um, increased productivity. But again, it is not for everybody. Okay. If you are not willing to respect the boundaries that are there, by all means, do not engage in a work spouse relationship with anybody. Okay. Okay. And if you are, or whatever, if you are in a relationship when you have a work spouse and you are in a relationship with a significant other, be sure to communicate this with this person. Be sure to make it understood that this is not an attempt for you to speak a romantic entanglement. This is not an opportunity for a hookup or things of that nature. It's just that you have a colleague that you respect and you value their input, you value their friendship, and you value their words of wisdom. Okay. Again, if you're not in a position to respect boundaries or things that or keep it platonic, do not pursue a work spouse relationship. Now, as I stated before, I will not have a stream tomorrow night. I will be doing a stream on Wednesday, New Year's Day, where I'm going to be talking about inspirational sayings. So basically, I'm just going to have discussion regarding them, why they're there, and do they serve a purpose and things of that nature. I will be doing a live on my other channel Thursday, January the 2nd. I will share with you what will be the topic on Wednesday night. And of course, Friday, I will have my stream where I will have open discussion where I will discuss multiple topics. And of course, you as the audience will have an opportunity to opine. And also, if you have anything that you want me to discuss, I will do my best to discuss them. Okay. So in any case, I will wrap it up. And again, I really appreciate everyone um, in the chat. And of course, as always, the playback gang, do your thing. Just try to keep the comments respectable. And of course, if if this topic has been beneficial to you, of course you can always share it and encourage other people to watch this as well. Okay, but in any case, I will say this: 2024 has been a good year. It's been a prosperous year. I've seen a lot of growth in this channel, and thanks to all of you who made it possible. So, in any case, I'm going to wrap this up by closing by saying what I always said before. We must do everything possible to avoid the presence of the mentally and intellectually challenged, because if we fail to do so, we will be infected by their stupidity and massive insanity. This has been another episode of Uncommon Sense with Jose Negron. And first of all, I just want to wish everyone a um, happy Kwanzaa. We're still in Kwanzaa. Happy Hanukkah, because we're still in the season of Hanukkah. Merry Christmas, and a may you have a wonderful 2025. That being said, take care. Good night and peace.